All right, so we're going into 2023. What does the new year look like for the National Treasure, Nick Aldis?
It looks quite international. I'll say that. I've already got on the books. I've already got quite a few UK dates, Canada, Australia, and quite a few states already on the books for 2023. And then speaking of Australia, we're working on this big Starcast and super show that we're planning to do in Australia, hopefully around fall of next year, which is, if it all comes off the way we want it to, it should be really exciting. It's still in development, and there's still a lot to get done. But
how are you gonna? Where are you getting the talent from?
Well, we'll get the talent from available talent.
Yeah, but it's a cost of. I mean, that's a very pricey trip to fly talent to Australia.
Well, yeah, but we're also intending to make it where the event is. It's not just that we're not flying everybody in to just do one show. I mean, there's going to be a convention. It'll be a whole weekend of stuff. That's where the funding comes in. It's all going to come down to whether we can accomplish the funding we want, and that's going to determine what.
How do you go about getting funding for this? Like, what's the process?
Well, that's where Cam comes in. Cam's the man as far as that part of it is concerned. That's his.
Who is Cam?
Cameron Vale. He's a well-known sports executive in Australia, and he and I developed a relationship over the course of the last year. And then,
how did you meet him?
He reached out to me. He wanted to. He wants to do something in Australia. He has an idea for how to pull this off based on his existing contacts and his existing relationships with various people. So he sort of reached out to me. At first, there was potentially some interest on his part about doing something maybe with the NWA, and that didn't really materialize. But he continued to keep a dialogue going with me. And then when he started sort of laying out what he saw for the event and what he was trying to accomplish, and what he asked me to partner with him on, I said, it sounds like what you're trying to do is a Starcast type of weekend, with a big super show attached. And I said, well, if we're going to do that, why don't we loop in the big man and get Conrad involved? And that's how that came about. So the team is really Cameron, Conrad, myself, and Mickey. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, we got a long way to go, but if we can pull it off the way we want to pull it off, it'll be something really cool.
Are you booking Joe Feeney on this? Because Joe's been begging. Yeah, Joe has been
Joe can come if he books his own flight, pays for his own hotel.
I thought you reached out for my flight info earlier this week. Was that just a scam? Was that somebody else?
That was a Nigerian prince, Joe.
Wait,
I didn't get $50 million.
Conan's joined us. Conan, we got Nick on. Nick's been talking about his big thing coming up in Australia that he's got with the
kids dicks.
Yeah. He said he's not going to book Joe unless Joe pays his own way, and then maybe he can find him to
Why would he book Joe?
Work the keyboards for the podcasts.
Public relations.
A boomerang.
Yeah, you're awesome at that.
I know people.
I haven't talked to Conan since this happened. Conan just got back from Mexico, right? And Nick, did you hear? So what happened with Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti? Let's get this hot.
Well, that's actually for the Lucha segment.
Lucha segment.
But I will just say that Tony pulled Ty because some girl, I don't know who, had. I'm not sure why Sammy was pulled because he didn't even appear on the show.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask Nick real quick. Finally, after a lot of delays and back and forth, you finally debuted in TJ. What was that? What was that like?
I had fun. I mean, I was miserable because I had the flu and I felt like so. I had to drag.
So you went time out. You went to Tijuana when you were sick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is the year 2022, Nick. We isolate when we're sick now.
Hey, I
don't know if you know the law.
I masked up on the flight and in the car and everything like that, and then just got in the dressing room and
did you
did my thing. And
did you get any of the performers at AAA sick?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Conan, was anybody sick?
No.
I didn't have. Glenn, I had a.
COVID's disappeared. Everybody gets bronchitis and get a cold now. Nobody. I don't even know anybody that gets now.
I do. So I don't know what's going on. If there's an uptick in because maybe the vaccine. Maybe maybe the vaccinations, they do wear off, and it is flu season, right? And plus, everybody's congregating.
Right, when it gets cold, everybody comes inside, and that's when COVID travels.
Because I know a couple people that got.
Well, and I'll say this, because I don't want it to come off like I was being super irresponsible. I had been sick, and I'd sort of gotten better, and then it was weird because it had sort of come back a little bit with a vengeance. So and. Because about a week
you kind of sound like a snowflake trying to explain yourself.
Right. Well, to be honest, he does.
Hold on. Gaslight Glenn over here is going, wait a minute. You went to Tijuana when you were sick. Right. You can't do that. Well,
snowflakes don't listen to this show, Nick. You can be yourself.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it was. I had come out the other end of it, but then it was. I still felt rough, and then to top it off, I watched. Obviously, the next day I had to watch the England France game at the hotel at the airport, and there I was just
miserable,
crying into my phone. Watching this.
Right.
Unfortunate play out.
Were you spending New Year's?
We'll be here in town in Nashville. It's Mickey and I's anniversary too. We got married on New Year's Eve, so It's always a bit of a sort of double whammy. But it also gives us a nice out if we want to do something low key.
Your anniversary is on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, we got married on New Year's.
Well, why would you do that?
Let me tell you why, Glenn. Because New Year's is number one. New Year's Eve, you know this, living in Vegas. New Year's Eve is amateur hour,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's the it's everywhere's jam packed full of people. Everything's like marked up. It's not enjoyable. Everyone's just sort of scrambling around waiting for midnight, and then whenever it counts down, and most of the time it ends up being a giant bust. So when we were debating when to set the date, we just sort of threw it out there like, well, why don't we do it on New Year's in the evening, and then the reception could just sort of double up as a New Year's Eve party, and then everyone can we could do that. I think we did the reception about 8:00.
Yeah, but
and then just rolled over into a New Year's party, and off you go.
But you're losing. You're losing like a day of celebration that you could have included, your anniversary could be on July 28th or November 2nd or something. Like it's an extra day.
Glenn,
you've disqualified a day that you could actually go celebrate and had to merge it into New Year's Eve.
A day that I have to celebrate. No, as a married man, I'll tell you, it's a day you have to remember. So
you would have trouble remembering your anniversary if you didn't have it on like a holiday?
Ask every married guy in the world. It's always their number one anxiety is forgetting their anniversary.
Right.
We'll never forget ours because it's New Year's Eve.
Very rare that a guy knows his anniversary, but the woman doesn't. The woman doesn't forget. She knows every date. Yeah.
I bet on the number 17 on roulette once and won. And so I texted my wife. I'm like, yeah, we won on our anniversary. I bet on 17. She's like, we were married the 18th. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
All right.
Whoops. Well, at least I won.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I did it on New Year's, because it's easy to remember now.
Are there any new supplements coming in the new year from Legacy Subs?
Yes. We'll probably launch about 5 new products in the next quarter. I'm still finalizing it and debating it and working.
What type of products?
Yeah, can you give us any hints on what's coming?
You're getting about that age. You probably need you're at the age where you're probably going to be starting needing erectile dysfunction medication. Do we have any advances in that?
I think I might come up with a anti-interruption supplement, and they'll send something to you for free.
Cheap shot. That's a cheap shot.
You're the only person I know who asks a question, and then the guy gets 2 words into his answer, and you start answering the question for him.
That's a cheap shot.
So
can't help himself.
So I'm going to be exploring some more stim-free pre-workout, because we've had a lot of feedback about sort of guys wanting pre-workouts without the high amount of caffeine, and beta-alanine and stimulants and stuff like that, so you don't get the shakes and jitters and stuff like that. And so that's one area. I'll probably be looking at some more sort of performance type stuff. So maybe some liver extract, but certainly some more stuff that will stack well with the test boosters as our bestseller.
Do you have a liver cleanse type supplement? So
our T Assist sort of doubles up. It has it's T Assist. It's a sort of, it's predominantly for to control estrogen,
right?
But it does also have some liver cleansing qualities as well.
Because I drink, so I like to take liver cleanse supplements.
Yeah, and we have a detox formula called Flush, which is part of the women's range. But I probably could look into bringing one out that's more universal.
Well, let me just say these supplements, me, Disco, and Joe use them. They're, our listeners, they always give us feedback that they keep coming back for more stuff, and they have everything from memory loss to energy, to recuperation. I mean, everything you can imagine. That's one of the things we do on the show. If you notice, everything from Manscaped to Legacy Subs and the other stuff, the Fight Camp, everything is for wellness. You know what I'm saying? And him and Mickey James do a great job over there. All right. Is there any project that you want to bring up? If not, tell us where we can find you at.
Well, I was talking to Glenn and Joe before you jumped on about the StarCast Australia. That's a big thing that I'm very excited about coming up this year. And I'm actually, I can't give too much away yet because it's too difficult to explain. It's not like I'm trying to be secretive or anything, but I am. I'm getting ready to shoot a little pilot in January for an idea that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I've connected with some production folks on setting up a little pilot. And I think it should be a lot of fun. Actually, Glenn, it might be something that if budget allows at some point, I might have to put you on a plane and have you come out and be a guest. But
is there any way that you could write a scene where Disco recreates? Remember in Pulp Fiction when Ving Rhames got by the redneck? If you could recreate that scene.
I mean, that would be,
and the GIMP.
That'd be something worth thinking about. I mean, I hope that Glenn didn't misunderstand.
And bro, you don't even have to buy a GIMP outfit or anything because you've got a natural GIMP by you, which is Joe.
No wardrobe.
Dude, I already got a zipper mask.
When I was talking about bringing out Glenn, I hope he didn't misunderstand. I was thinking more to come out and just to be a runner, just to
that's what he's
coffee
good
and,
at. Production.
We could have. We could have K100 involved somehow. I mean, if I'm not invited and Disco doesn't accept, we could have Billy Body as an on-scene correspondent if you're interested in that as well. So, no dice on that.
So I got a pop for once, Joe.
Right, exactly, for once.
I thought about that long and hard.
Anyways,
where can we find you, Nick?
On Twitter at Real Nick Aldis, on Instagram at Nick Aldis. And then, as always, legacysubs.com. You can use code K100. And if you're hearing this before the end of January 1st, we're running a New Year's code 2023, so 2023. You can get 23% off your order until the end of the day on January 1st at legacysubs.com.
Sweet. So I just want to say Happy New Year to you and Mickey from here, everybody here on K100, friend of the show. He has his own segment. Check it out, the musical segment where we either put over or bury music. So if you do music, produce music, know somebody that does music and they think it's really good and you want us to bury it, send it, and please have an accompanying video. And that's the Juicy Seal, Nick on Probation, National Treasure, Aldis. Boom.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you guys. Happy New Year,
Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, Nick.
All right.
Happy New Year, Nick.
See you, fellas.
Bye.
Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100, my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!